Sharmiela, we have just seen her in Galipata too.
Imagine if you're a cop and I come to you in the cop station and I tell you, hey, listen, my girlfriend's missing.
UFO?
ನೋಡಿ ಇದು ನಂಬೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಬಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಂದೆ ಆಗಿದೆ.
It's a world of the unknown, right? Like we're talking about the universe and about aliens and stuff like that.
The spaceship ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ the kind of things that were put there.
Final check, all systems.
We're good to go.
He's talking about Kannada. Now Kannada Avengers ತರ ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೂಡ್ದು?
Welcome to Cinema Express. Nanu A Sharadhaa. Today we are in conversation with Kiran Srinivas and Sharmiela for the upcoming film Mandala. Hello both of you.
Hello.
Namaskara Sharadhaa.
Namaskara.
Tumba disaito. It's been very long since I met you in person.
Yes. ನಮಗೂ ಏನು ಒಂದು ಫೆಮಿಲಾರಿಟಿ ಇಬ್ಬರಲ್ಲೂ ಏನು ಒಂದು ಅಂದರೆ ಬೋತ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಬಟ್ ಚೂಸಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ನೀವಿಬ್ರು ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ ಲೈಕ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ seen in very less movies.
Correct.
And the gap between each movies a lot. Why? What is it?
I mean, it's not a conscious thing. Khanditwaglu. First of all, good to see you too. I didn't say that. I don't want people to think that I'm not happy to see you. I'm extremely happy to see you. We both go so long. Coming to the gap, I think it's, I don't know, I mean, it just happens so. I can't, you know, I don't have 10 films being offered to me every year to be a part of it. I don't think I've proved my worth for me to kind of command those kind of works. I think I still have a long way to go. I still feel that I've just started. So
also, you shifting to Mumbai and you getting into other, you call ventures, other crafts, did not concentrate and did not focus you on in cinemas what you wanted to?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think I could have still, like I said, I think it's a very clear distinction between, I'm not offered a lot of films, and that's not because they don't like me or, you know, it's just that I haven't proven my worth the way a successful actor would, and there is no shame in admitting that.
Anyway, a successful actor does like experiment with movies to be there. You have not experimented with movies to say that I have not been offered. You have to try and test.
Exactly. So for yeah, I mean, fair enough, you can say that, but for a producer, he would look at me and say that, what have you proved for me to give you that? So I think Mandala could be a nice conversation starter for me in that way. With this, I think they might maybe take me a little more seriously. Not that they haven't taken me seriously. To be very honest, it's been more than 10 years since I've been here. I feel like a fresher, but at the same time, I feel so overwhelmed when I meet my industry colleagues, right? They are so welcoming, they're so warm. I haven't given a single hit, but still they're so nice. They're so, be it producers, be it directors, be it filmmakers, my colleagues, actors. So I think the warmth is there, that they have embraced me really well. It's just, I think they're very patiently saying, prove yourself, give us a film, and then we will definitely back you. And I think that's fair.
With Sharmiela, we have just seen her in Galipata too. But otherwise, you're a producer. You also distribute.
We used to
distribute. But acting-wise, you have also been very choosy
Over the years, yeah. Because I think, Sharadhaa, most likely I would like to say, it's not like I've not been offered films. I have, because I feel like there are a lot of filmmakers who are always in need of heroines, because there are, ultimately, if you see every year, there are 250 to maybe 50 plus films being done. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't offered films. I have been. It's just that I am choosy about, I think in the first few years when I started my career, right, I was taking up a lot of work at that point, and I just realized, why should I take up work that I may not be excited about? There has to be some excitement, because after a point I felt like I was being stereotyped by just getting those same roles which were like very repetitive with the songs and a couple of scenes. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute, I need to take a step back and re-evaluate what my main intentions of being an actor is. Do I really want to do 10 films a year? Or do I want to do maybe a film or two which I think was satisfying for me and which I may think as a viewer that I may like? And also I'm very critical about my own films. Like sometimes I have done films in the past which I've been so embarrassed about that I've even like probably walked out halfway thinking that I've done such a horrible job. Like I've been extremely critical about myself. So for me, at one point I did, because I was interacting with so many actors, I was like, okay, what's my screen time in the film? How much of the role do I have? But now I'm like, you know what? That's not important. What's important is being a part of a good story. Because that's what lasts.
So you think you're not in that competition league of like, I can do better?
I mean, of course, I always want to do better. I think as an actor, there's never a time where I've been like, oh my god, this is the best film that I've ever done or something. I still feel like I have a lot to go. Even though Galipata 2 was a success and all of that, I still feel like I want to do something which is unique, different for me as a character, and also a nice story. Because right now with the OTT Sharadhaa, what's happening is that we're watching and consumed by so much good content. Like, it's amazing the kind of films that are coming. The competition is up there right now, right? With all the new content. So and what about the attention spans? Like, all of us we watch all these films, and after like 5-10 minutes, we're like fast forwarding, or like, you know, now they have this new feature 1.5x or 2x where you can fast forward it and watch it like faster, right? So I feel like that's because the attention span of people are getting very limited. So when you're choosing a script, it has to be something that can be intriguing and fast paced, and not something that's dated. So I guess that's what it is. Right?
7 seconds attention span right now humans have. That's the official
that's the
number.
average. Yeah.
Okay. But also, you're at a space in cinema industry where actors are going pan-India.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you still feel that you're opened up, at least as a producer, you're like, doing movies in other languages. But an actor, when you see youngsters are going pan-India, you somewhere feel that you could have been already there if you had done a little more work, number of projects.
I feel like, I think my life is not over yet. I still feel like a lot to come. I feel like I'm still open to doing films or web series in other languages. There's no such restriction that I want to do only films. Yeah, I'm always open to doing other languages also. And of course, like you said, today, cinema is such that it's not restricted to a territory. Like, for example, even our film Mandala, it's a sci-fi film, and the premise is that of in Bangalore, right?
I was coming to that only.
Yeah.
Like,
the premise
actually, both of you thought of Mandala. Why did you think of being part of Mandala?
So that's why I was saying the premise of Mandala is that of Bangalore, and we shot in Mysore as well. But when you watch the film, and we've used a lot of culture, heritage, and all of that. But if you look at the film, it's almost like a pan-India film. And in fact, Kiran was telling me earlier, it's not a pan-India film. It's like it's world cinema, right? Because they talk about a world that that we don't know of. It's a world of the unknown, right? Like, we're talking about the universe and about aliens and stuff like that, which is obviously unknown. So it's a film that everyone can watch. It's not just restricted to any area. Yet at the same time, in fact, Samyukta was saying that why is it that we only show alien movies in America, and always the aliens will be invading America, but namma Bangalore ke yaru barala anta. So I feel like this is a great start, because we do have aliens also invading Karnataka.
Yeah, I know.
What's your opinion? Why did you choose to be part of it?
Oh, there were lots of reasons. One was the cast, because it had Anant Nag sir in it, it had Prakash Bill sir in that. Like, opportunity. You weren't there by then. I think we both were the last people to be cast.
I think I was the last person.
Because he had asked me, dude, I need Maya, find me some Maya. I'm like, I don't know.
My character's name is Maya.
Yeah, that was one of the main reasons. The second reason was the story. When I heard the story, I was blown away. It reminded me of Independence Day. It reminded me of E.T. It reminded me of Koi Mil Gaya to an extent, where the highs and lows are there. Unbelievable things are happening, Let me just, I've been repeating this, but let me just say, imagine if you're a cop and I come to you in the cop station and I tell you, hey, listen, my girlfriend's missing. And you want to take down a complaint, like, what happened? Like, alien kidnapped her. How would you react?
Yeah.
Like, what would the cop do in that position, right? Like, he or she is not told that there will be a point where an alien abduction will happen and you need to. So this is the premise of the film. And when I heard the story, it was audacious, but it made sense. It was entertaining. It had a logical conclusion to each question that was being thrown into the film. I was like, okay, what will happen to this? What will happen to this? Oh, okay. And then in the 10 minutes, I was high, I was crying, I was emotional, I was joyed, I was having goosebumps. So it just in a nutshell told me that this is a project that I have to be a part of. There is no second go. And the fact that he wants to make a trilogy of this. This is the first part. We haven't gone all out in promoting that, but this is the first part in its reality. We have a script for second and third. We have an open ending. His idea, Ajay's idea, is to create something like Guardians of Galaxy and Avengers in Kannada. Forget about Hindi. He's talking about Kannada. Now, Kannada Avengers tara yak markudu. Is it that we lack in certain way? No. Be it technical, be it writing skills, be it performances, we have it. It's the underdog story, right? Like I'm the underdog in this. The story is the underdog. Ajay is an underdog. We all are underdogs, and there is some sort of thrill to be an underdog and achieve what you've set out to.
Well, while he was talking, I was just thinking, when you talk about this as an English movie, people get excited. They'll book tickets in advance, they'll wait for some. But coming from, it's a Kannada content.
Yeah.
How will you promote this as as standards as an English film? How would you like to tell the audience, like, this is going to be as
Good.
As in fact, yeah, the director Ajay the other day, he's from America actually originally. He has no, like, this is his first debut film, and of course he's never done films in Karnataka or in India before, for that matter. So his vision of this film, which he thought of 10 years ago, was always to do a film which would probably be, he was always inspired by those films which happen in America, obviously. That was his inspiration, and I think he always felt that how am I going to match up to that level? And I feel like over here, what's more important, it may not be to that level because obviously the budget constraints are always there. But having said that, I think what really holds a lot of water is the fact that the screenplay, the story, and the story is by Ajay, of course, and it moves very fast and is very intriguing. And also the screenplay and the dialogues are done by Prakash Bill. So, which is very engaging, because when I read the script, I felt like it wasn't boring at any point. There were no mishaps, and it was very sort of like not boring. Basically.
So you had,
it didn't have any weak points.
You had a veteran like Prakash Bill
who stood on the script.
So that is one of the reasons.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And also when you said, like, how are we going to stand up to the big films like Hollywood, and how are we going to get the audience to give us a chance, right? We are trying to show them the trailer because we don't know how else to go about it.
Yeah.
What we are trying to is trailer nodi. Trailer node curiosity bandre cinema bani, and we are confident that trailer node the curiosity barutte. There are some shots of the spaceship agbodu athwa the kind of things that were put there. Kannada ಚಲನಚಿತ್ರರಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನ.
Correct. Yeah.
And we are also, in a way, unwittingly, unknowingly, we are being the pioneers to start a trend of making science fiction films, is what I think. I think Kannada films are going to make a lot more science fiction films. We were talking, there are some.
At least the hope for.
No, I think we will. I think we have some crazy filmmakers. We spoke about Hemant, Pawan, Rakshit. I think these guys, they're already championing the films, Kannadinda. And I think the start what Mandala is doing. And I think these filmmakers can take it on and take it ahead.
But you know what, Sharadhaa, the basic thing is, like I was telling you also earlier, that you know the reason why producers do not select a genre like this usually is because they want to have a tested and tried thing. It's like an investment. When you go and invest somewhere, you want like your returns back. You want to be safe. But this is like a huge risk because this is a one of a kind. First of a kind. First, you're answering all the questions before you even ask.
You could have stayed home. You would have done this interview.
You would have kept the chair.
You would have kept an empty chair and superimposed you then.
I was thinking sci-fi. You know, we always say, when we say a rare genre in Kannada, we only commercial entertainments. Now it's become a norm.
Now it's a norm.
Yeah. But sci-fi and Rashna, we'll start with Sharmiela and Kiran, a part of a rare genre.
Yeah.
Atra. So, sci-fi and Rashna, will people connect?
Will people connect is always the first question. And that's the first thing I thought, even when I signed up this film. I asked him also, but I thought, you know what? That time when I'd actually signed this film, I was watching a bunch of sci-fi. And actually, I've never been a fan of sci-fi my whole life. But during that time when I signed this film, I was watching Stranger Things. There was this show on Netflix, and I'd also, I think a couple of months before that, I'd actually watched Star Trek for the first time in my life. And everyone's like, how could you not watch it? That's why I watched it. And then I'd suddenly become a fan of sci-fi. And I don't know, I think I manifested it, or I don't know what it was, because I was watching it and then I got a call for this. And I was so excited, because I was watching it and I'm like, why is it that I can't do a role like this? Or why can't I be a part of something which is sci-fi? It's such a nice genre to be a part of. It's so interesting and entertaining, and you know, people are always intrigued to know what's there outside this world and everything. So I was like very excited when I chose to do this film. But you're right, like it is a very new genre, and people are going to be like, what do we expect? Do we expect a good film? Do we not? But I think what we've all done is put our best foot forward. But what happens on a Friday morning is something that's left up to the audience. I always believe that. People call me very diplomatic for saying that, because they're like, you have to keep promoting your film and you have to say, yeah, please come and watch our movie, do this, do that. But I feel like, what's the point? Because we have done whatever we could till that day, and now it's left up to the audience to decide, do they like it or not? Because you got to be a critic, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion of what a film should be like, or if they like it or not.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಪ್ರಕಾಶ್ ಬೆಲ್ವಾಡಿ ಸೆಡ್ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮೀಟ್. ಅವ್ರೇನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ನೀವು 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನೋಡೋಣ, ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಥವಾ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಸ್ರೋ, IISc, IIM, ಆಮೇಲೆ HAL, BEL, ಆಮೇಲೆ IT ಸೆಟಪ್ ನೋಡೋದಾಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ವಿಪ್ರೋ, ಇನ್ಫೋಸಿಸ್, 80s, 70s, 60s ಇಂದಾನೆ ಮೈಕೋ, ಬಾಷ್. ಸೊ ಕನ್ನಡ ಜನತೆಗೆ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ. IT ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್, ಸಿಲಿಕಾನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲಿ ನಾವು. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಜನರ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯರಲ್ಲೂ ಇದೆ ಇದು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಕ್ಕೆ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ಸ್ಥಳ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ. ಬಟ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಚಲನಚಿತ್ರ ರಂಗ ಆಗಿ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಾ ತರ ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ, ಇದನ್ನ ಮರ್ತು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ವಿ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನನಗೆ. ಎಲ್ಲೋ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವೇನೋ, ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಂತ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮರ್ತು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ವಿ. ಬೈ ಪುಟಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್, ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಈ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ನಾವು ಮುಂದಿಟ್ಟು, ಒನ್ಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ರಿಯಲೈಸಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಜಾನ್ರಾ ಇದೆ ಗುರು, ನಾವು ಮರ್ತು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ವಿ ಇದನ್ನ. ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಮೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಮೇಕರ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಲಿ, especially in today's time, to take this genre and avoid a film madadike. Probably in the 2 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ there will be some 10 films on this genre, and we'll be thinking back like, yeah, shuru, oh, Mandala start ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಲ್ವಾ ಇದು, correct. ಆ ಒಂದು ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಭರವಸೆ ಇದೆ.
But Ajay being a debut and he has never done any movies in India also, how did he think of bringing together a sci-fi and having you as...
I think he's also a Kannadiga, and ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ ಬೆಳೆದಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲೇ. I think he moved there to
Masters he went there.
He went there. I think he had like this long-term dream that ಈ ತರ ಒಂದು ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, and I think that dream is now coming true, so I'm looking forward to it. And also, not just that, how he did the casting was, I think he approached, who did he approach first actually? Because I was the last of the one to be
one of the last was me.
So we was asked Samyukta, I think it was Prakash Bill, because he had obviously approached him for the script, and he had done the dialogues and the screenplay as well. So I'm guessing that's how we all kind of got involved in the film. And but actually, one of the reasons I also did the film is because when he told me my character, I was thrilled, because my role is that of an aerospace engineer who is a young girl who is not just interested in running around trees and just falling in love all the time, although she's in love.
Substance, I mean, the character has some...
They have human emotions.
She has
a very human emotion. And in fact, the question of how Ajay kind of made this, it is an audacious thing Alva to make. In fact, his first idea was even more audacious than this. He wanted to make a film something like Guardians of Galaxy, where you have these 5 or 6 superheroes who are all this working for a secretive society called Mandala, and they are protecting Indian heritage from the global terrorists. This was the film that he wanted to make, and the pitch was so big, the scale of the film would have been so huge. First time a chance illa. I think that's when Prakash kind of told him, not discouraged him, but told him like, how are you going to make this? Then he went back to the drawing board and he said, you know what, I'm going to write a prequel to this. Who are these guys and how did they become superhero? So if you look at the poster also, it's 5 of us. We're all in a way superheroes, and how are we superheroes, or how do we get into that zone, is by watching the film you'll know.
But superheroes, like, you have that one attire, like significant.
That's what we were saying. This is the 3 part. No, we're teasing. Do you know anything about the film still? We're teasing. We should do this. Ajay is also very rigid that way. I've told Ajay that we have to tease more.
But executing this movie was film got delayed for reasons, or it took time for...
But you know what, Sharadhaa, to be honest, all my films, even Gali Pata, let's take for example, I started it much before this film, like it was 2018. All films, I think, due to the pandemic,
lockdown pushed 2 years.
I don't think at any point any producer anticipated what would have happened, and I think they had never planned for it, because of which things got delayed. And also, let's not forget, this film is a sci-fi genre, and more than the shoot part of it, which we had already done before the pandemic, the VFX, because VFX takes a lot of time, and a film like this, which is a sci-fi genre, and if you want to compare it to any other language or anything, it has to be on the top level, and that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Getting like a good VFX person to do the film, or the coloring, or the DI, and all of that. So I guess that also took.
So it took us a bit of time to study of how are we going to release it. Should we go to OTT? Should we go to theatres? It took us a bit of time. We could have released it in the last year, but I think it was time well spent. And like she said, we had finished the filming in 2019 itself. But the pandemic pushed us back. And had it been any other film, we would have probably, as soon as the pandemic was over, we would have come back, right?
Yeah.
Because it was this kind of a VFX, which is never seen before, it took more time. And I think Ajay was very clear, I'm not going to rush this. Even if I'm pushed back by a year or two, that's fine.
Also, when we talk about such kind of movies, they always say it would have been best for OTT. But do you think
That's what a lot of people. Yeah, so a lot of
Yes.
people are saying, "Oh, this sounds like a multiplex film and multiplex theatre kind of a film." And I'm like, no, because yes, it is a sci-fi genre, and it is very sort of like, it can be also termed as a world cinema. But at the same time, we have also integrated a lot of nativity and a lot of facts in the film which bring about heritage of Karnataka. And I think that's the beauty of Mandala. It's not just, oh, one sci-fi film, a girl gets abducted by an alien, blah, 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 and that's the search. It has a lot of the heritage factor of what it is of Karnataka is basically structured into this film, which is also something that showcases Karnataka in the best possible way. And I think that is the most, also a very important factor.
Yeah, and also the fact, come on, if you're seeing first cinema, ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು aliens cinema ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, spaceship ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. Let's be honest, would we want to watch it in a small screen or big screen?
Big screen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Also, like actors who are of they have the interest with such subjects can be part of it. They are like
If they're like, hey, the sci-fi elinda, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ, this, that. And I think what for me, I think it was also one of the reasons was because everyone's role, I was telling Kiran also, everyone's role in this film is so unique. Like in Bangalore, like we have ISRO, okay, and we have engineers who are women, who are working women, who are aerospace engineers. Why do we not talk about them in cinema? We always have like, very flimsy characters sometimes, I feel like, where there's not too much representation of these kind of women who are actually hardworking and who are always career focused, career oriented. Like even you, for example, you've been working for such a long time, you're a career woman. Like these are the kind of roles I think we should really bring about on screen. Social media and all this, this whole thing about how you should be is a wrong representation of how women should be. They should also have such kind of roles where the girls want to be able to do strong characters like this as well.
Also, are you happy with the kind of directors, new directors, fresh subjects? You wouldn't even thought like
100%, because I've known Sharadhaa for like ever since I started, and I think how it used to be then, because at some point I was only getting films with a lot of remakes and okay, Nodi Madam Vidu. Yeah. And I mean that was a good film. That was a good film of mine, but Adu Kuda, I feel like
I think, okay, Sharmiela, like there was time like people wanted to see that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so happy to be in this space now. Like thank God I've got this opportunity to extend my career a little, because I feel like they say, after 30 your life is over, and women oh my God, her life is done and she can't be an actor and stuff like that, because all the young 23-year-old girls are coming. But there's no such thing. I think this is a great space to be in, because there's such a vast amount of roles given to people of various ages at this point, and it's not just like how it used to be before. Okay, that 5-year lifespan and take care by. And with OTT, characters are really, really like important, and there's so much of a dearth, and they want good actors of all ages.
I only know about working with new debutant directors, and I think they come up with some crazy energy. ಅನ್ಫಿಲ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದ್ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾರವರು, ಇದು ಬೇಡ ಇದನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡೋಣ ಸಾಕು. ಈಗ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. They don't want to be confined to a formulaic. They come with outrageous ideas. ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ. And I like that. I like the fact ಯಾವ ಮಗಳು ಯಾಕೆ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ಶಿಪ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಬಾರ್ದು, ಯಾಕೆ ಬರಬಾರ್ದು, ಬಾಬುರು ಬರ್ಸೋಣ, ಸಿಲ್ಕ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ತೋರ್ಸೋಣ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಅಂತ. Why not?
Also, okay, Sharmiela, we know, like we saw her in Galipata too, and she had her reasons why she was choosy and all. You said Mandala is a comeback film. So from
You said it, I didn't. No, I never said comeback.
Okay, come on. After a long time
After
seeing Kiran.
6 years.
Okay.
6 years.
So how do you want to take it forward?
I'm happy with the pace at which I'm going. I think I'm going to get better work as I'm aging. maybe it has to do with, they say that men when they age they look and
that's true.
better or whatever.
For me, it's looking like when Hrithik Roshan telling this dialogue. Okay.
But I'm finding some interesting work coming my way. I'm going to be playing a negative, full-fledged negative in a Kannada film. So I'm looking
I
forward
think
to that.
good looking.
I think ನನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಕಳ್ತನ ಇದೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು. ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೇಲಿ ಸಣ್ಣ ವಯಸ್ಸಿಂದ ಹೇಳೋರು ಕಳ್ಳನ ಮಗ ಏನೇನು ಅಂತ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಈಗ ರಾಧಾಕೃಷ್ಣ's next film, ರಾಧಾಕೃಷ್ಣ ರೆಡ್ಡಿ's next film, I'm playing a negative in that.
ಯಾರು ನಮ್ಮ
Yeah.
ಶರ್ಮಿಲಾ, of course, ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ನನ್ಗೊಂದು ಖುಷಿ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ. She's not producer because very less.
Yeah, Sharadha's been very nice enough to keep calling me, and she's always supporting me.
I'm approaching her for.
She always supports me as a producer.
I want her to produce my film. I've written a film. I want to direct
Tell me
it.
the good story.
I have. We're talking. I'm asking her.
A script because he wants to also.
I want her as a creative producer.
She encourages. She
Yeah.
keeps asking.
I know.
No, definitely Sharadha, because I feel like we have so much talent which is untapped. So how do we tap that talent? We have to see. I keep reading so many scripts, right? Because I always encourage people to send me their scripts because I want to see how it works. And if it's good, definitely I would love to pick it up. And that's why we're doing a slate of films, and I'm excited about that. I'm very kicked about it. And in fact, that is why I'm saying, like, I want to do films where I'm an actor, where the roles are really good for me. And if I don't, and if I feel like I don't feel like doing it, then I'm always busy in production. You know how production can be. It's the most stressful job you can ever find because you're always constantly busy. Everyone's always depending on you, calling you. And I think I'm not just a producer who, people, like, somebody was asking me, like, oh, producer, the person who puts the money. I was like, no, that's not. I am the creative producer. A creative producer is a producer who gets involved in every creative aspect of the film too. It's not just about throwing my weight around on set and say, yeah, give me tea, coffee, and that's not my thing. It's like actually being
You
involved.
actually temporarily camped in UK for
Yes,
the shoot.
for the shoot of KKT. I was there, and I actually was there every day on set because I wanted to ensure that everything was going smoothly, because sometimes there is always an opportunity of some problem happening. However well you plan a shoot, there'll always be something that may not go, and I've always wanted to be there to make sure that things go right according to
I was telling her actually,
plan.
our industry desperately needs a school of thought of creative producers. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ ಹೊಸಬ್ರು ಬರೋರು, first time directors, they come with first time producers. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, and the first time producer won't know how to go and take those creative calls. If we have a creative producers, and like she said, now producer ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಹಾಕೋರು ಅನ್ಕೊಂತೀವಿ. There is executive producer, there is associate producer, there is co-producer, there is financier, there is line producer, so many producers. If we have a creative producer and a creative director, ಅವಾಗ ಈ ನ್ಯೂ ಕಮರ್ಸ್ ನ ಗೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಇನ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಪ್ರಮೋಷನ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ತರ ಇದನ್ನ ಬಾರ್ಟರ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು.
Does a sci-fi movie need a big budget?
Definitely. In fact, that's exactly what he was saying, that when the other story was given to Mr. Belwadi, he said, maybe you should wait for some time before you have such a big mounting of a project. Because see, sci-fi is not just about shooting a film with actors who are good actors. It's a story that has to be that has to come to life visually also. It has to be very like up there, because we are talking about films like Avatar, and like we're watching Avatar, and like he said, like the Marvel series and Avengers and all of that. And when we're watching stuff like that and consuming stuff like that, when it comes to sci-fi, it has to be on another level. And I feel like this was a good enough script for us to go in a certain direction, because the story was in a certain way. But for it to be like a proper, full-fledged, huge mounting sci-fi film, you need a lot of time, effort, and money.
It's not that nobody dared to do it or something, they just never took it seriously. I think we have started something, hopefully, and through this we are challenging the industry in a way, saying that, hey, we have started this, we are small, we've done this with limited resources. Come on, you guys are amazing filmmakers, you're doing amazing work, take this subject as well.
Okay, both of you look very excited. If you want to tell the audience what, need them to go to theaters and experience this, have a word.
Please watch our trailer first. Right now, wherever you're watching this, just watch our trailer, and I promise you that you would want to go book the ticket and watch the movie.
We have a very interesting song as well as a trailer which is released, and I think that this is a new attempt and something new that we've attempted for Kannada cinema. And this Friday, March 10th, is the release of our film Mandala. Please watch it. And Sharadhaa, you have to first watch it yourself and tell us what you think.
I'm more excited because Mandala, I just thought, okay, it's an ordinary movie. Like, just you both are sharing screen space for the first time. That excitement. But when you told me about the way you discussed about like Avengers and all, I thought it was nice talking to you both. So March 10, Mandala.
Please watch.
ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಟ್ರೈಲರ್ ನೋಡಿ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರ.